2025. We got a big one. There's a lot going on. We got a big one. War is effectively breaking out in the Middle East in different ways. Israel and America are starting to go after the Houthis. There's some skirmishes and crap going on between Syria and Hezbollah and Lebanon. Hamas basically getting attacked again and attacking. We are on the precipice of a pretty big regional something or other in the Middle East. Now, over in Eastern Europe, things are actually moving in a pretty okay way. So that's the good news. We just have to keep that going. But we're going to cover it, like we do. JFK files were, they were released, and there's some stuff in there. Man, I'll tell you what. One of the channels said this one's for the Nothing Ever Happens crowd. So, yeah, there's some major stuff in the old JFK files. So, hopefully you get a chance to check those out. But we're going to get started here. We're not going to get real long-winded. We're going to let the intel do the talking. This is the most comprehensive news on YouTube. People understand that, and we are respected for it. So thank you to all those. To the naysayers, whatever. I'm not worried about it. I let my work stand on its own, and I think it does. So if you want to know everything that's going on and, want to have a nice 30-minute report on literally everything, that you can strap the earbuds in and just kind of go and sit back and listen. And this is the thing. This is the place to do it. That's what the crisis report was created for, is to go out and take all of the really important stuff from war and geopolitics and other things, finances, and put it into a 30, 45-minute just straight rundown of everything. So, all right, friends, we're going to get started. God bless you all for being here. This is your crisis report for March 18th, 2025. Poroshenko, former president of Ukraine. Zelensky's moves towards a dictatorship. So he's saying Z-Man is going towards dictatorship status. German parliament has voted to take on hundreds of billions of euros. Yay. New government debt. Ease the debt break rules and to codify, eliminate climate neutrality by 2045 under the Constitution. 2/3 majority was required. 513 voted in favor, 207 against. AfD parliamentary group voted against the law proposed by the CDU and SPD parties. We'd like to say farewell and auf Wiedersehen to any major industry in Germany, because your death sentence was just signed with that vote. Just spoken to a friend serving in the Middle East. This is from Aquila about what's going on. He said the individual said U.S. preemptively struck the Houthis last night after credible intelligence was received of a direct attack by the Houthis against U.S. assets in the Middle East. Houthis were prepped with all missiles, but U.S. acted in time to neutralize the threat. Individual also said they were a general alert across the U.S. bases in the Middle East. Stay near protected sites if an attack alert is still standing. Israel and other U.S. allies in the Middle East were notified just as the airstrikes were about to begin. Some even offered help, but the U.S. saw this as an opportunity to draw a line in the sand and send a direct warning to Iran also that if they continue to pursue their nuclear dream, they would face the same outcome. U.S. is still monitoring the situation. It's very likely more strikes will be coming up in the hours to come and days. Also, the U.S. is expecting retaliation of some sort and are ready to neutralize any threat. It's not sure if the Houthis were intending to strike Israel or U.S. assets at this moment. So, again, to my video on PrepperNow, the jackhole that was like, it's not war, dude. We are basically at war with the Houthis. They officially declared to the world, via Reuters, war against the United States. That's what they said. That's verbatim what it says. So, they're not, some little light group. They're a heck of a lot tougher than many things out there. Many countries too. So this is major stuff. And at any point, folks, you could see major crap going on and strikes happening in Iran. That could happen literally at any time at this point. It's ticking down. So hopefully you're pretty up on your preps and everything, and you're able to handle what the future holds. Boy. All right, so what he's hearing now is that the U.S. is going to move to higher intensity bombing, which includes B-1B, B-52s in Yemen after relentless attacks from the Houthis. Trump is not holding back. That's correct. United States State Department is offering $10 million to anyone who can provide information on Iran's network of smuggling money to Hezbollah and $10 million. It goes up. Now it's $15 million. Yep, U.S. is offering $50 million for any information on any of this stuff. So $10 to $15 million, depending, to help America bomb these pieces of crap back to the Stone Age. Every bullet fired by the Houthis will from now on be viewed as a bullet fired by Iran and its leadership, and Iran will bear responsibility and will bear the consequences, and those consequences will be severe. So basically, you're at war, folks. Okay? United States Fifth Fleet has entered a period of sustained combat operations in CENTCOM area of responsibility, according to U.S. officials. And the Middle East right now, well, Israel is bombing Hezbollah targets in southern and eastern Lebanon. U.S. airstrikes once again against Houthi targets. United States Fifth Fleet goes into a period of sustained combat operation. Intense clashes ongoing between Syrian army and Hezbollah Lebanese armed forces on the Syrian-Lebanese border. Just another day in the Middle East, folks. Israel targeted the 32nd Brigade in Dakhra city, causing the explosion of ammunition and shells and the flames rising in the targeted site. Ambulances and fire trucks are heading to the site, Syrian state media states. IDF confirms carrying out a wave of airstrikes in Lebanon a short while ago, saying it targeted is Hezbollah military sites. Sites were targeted after the IDF says it identified Hezbollah operatives and weapons at them. Terror activity at these sites poses a threat to the state of Israel and is blatant violation of the understandings between Israel and Lebanon, the military says. Strikes were reported by Lebanese media in the Bekaa Valley area and in southern Lebanon. We have recently detected signs that may indicate Hamas is preparing to launch an offensive raid on Israel, according to Israeli officials. Gives them the green light to strike back, or first, whatever you want to call it. IDF says that these strikes in Syria were directed at military targets belonging to the Assad regime after observing attempts by the current Syrian government to seize control of them. Visuals of the Lebanese armed forces headed towards the point of clashes on the Syrian-Lebanese border. Trump is mulling recognizing Crimea as a Russian territory as part of the Ukraine talks. They were positive. We will cover that today. Now they're supposedly going to be meeting in Jeddah to start to put this whole thing together with a bare minimum of a ceasefire on infrastructure and energy hits. But the goal is to turn that and to start that as the door opening to a larger ceasefire. America really wants this so they can basically turn their focus to the Middle East right now. And speaking of which, Israel is bombing Hezbollah targets in southern and eastern Lebanon. U.S. airstrikes against the Houthi targets in Yemen. Fifth Fleet goes into a period of sustained combat operation. Intense clashes ongoing between the army of Syria and Hezbollah Lebanese armed forces on the border. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu rushed to the Kiryat HQ in Tel Aviv amid reports of Hamas about to launch an offensive. Israel carrying out airstrikes against Assad remnants in Dakhra, Syria. Lebanese Air Force carrying out airstrikes against the Syrian army artillery positions on the Syrian-Lebanese border. And Hezbollah is waiting for reinforcements from the Lebanese army to launch an attack on the Syrian army itself. Israeli Prime Minister is meeting right now with the entire Israeli military defense establishment after there are intelligence reports that Hamas is about to launch an imminent offensive against Israel. Any direct targeting of the U.S. forces in Iraq will be met with a decisive and direct response, ensuring that any threat is deterred without any hesitation, according to the Pentagon. Due to the attempts of the armed forces of Ukraine to break through the state border of Russia and the Belgorod region, yes, that's what these idiots are doing. They're trying to get a ceasefire going, and they're like, I know what we should do. We should go into Belgorod and try to take the country of Russia, starting at one time zone at a time. There's only 11 of them. Yes, they're attacking Belgorod. They're going into Russia to try to take a section of Russia. And this is the entrance to the Krasnoyarushki district. Telegram channel 2 Myras reported that today on March 18th, 6:30, the enemy is attempting to break through the state border in the area of settlements Gralovka and the forest of the Krasnoyarushki district in the Belgorod region, keeping a close eye on the developments. Don't forget, Trump and Putin are scheduled to meet to talk today. Yes, they did. Death toll so far in Gaza since the ceasefire was broken is 412. Amid all the hype, few things, Israel has not physically entered the Gaza Strip. As of now, only airstrikes. No Iranian naval vessel has been sunk, and no IRGC commander has been killed in Yemen. So, all things considered, pretty normal for the Middle East, par for the course. We are now at war with America and will respond to any attack. We will not ease our activities in the Red Sea under American pressure, according to a Houthi official statement. You tricked me. We're not at war with anyone. Quote, we are now at war with America. Okay? We are now at war with America. Go get a water pick and clean your ears out, bro, because obviously I'm not making these statements up. Taiwanese Air Force reported intercepting several heavy-duty Chinese UAVs in its air defense identification zone. Additionally, Hassan al-Naham Abu Ali, and senior member of PIJ, was killed in an Israeli strike in Khan Yunis. Hezbollah condemns the renewal of the war in Gaza, but not threatens to resume attacks against Israel. March 15th, the Houthis in Sa'ada Governorate began seizing the World Food Programme's food stock from its warehouse in Sa'ada. This warehouse contains over 5.7 million pounds of commodities intended for Yemeni civilians. This illegal seizure of WFP commodities will further hinder the delivery of much-needed humanitarian assistance to the Yemeni people. And yes, it was the Houthis that did that. This is another example of the Houthi complete and reckless disregard for the people of Yemen and aggression toward the humanitarian operations that help those in need. Houthis continue to violate international humanitarian law, as well as put aid workers and the Yemeni people at risk. Houthis care nothing for the Yemeni people, according to CENTCOM. Trump and Putin have been on the call since 10 a.m. Eastern. The call is still ongoing, according to the White House. That is now over. Iranian rial hits a record low, with one USD exchanging for 1 million Iranian rial. That's pretty rough. Trump-Putin phone call will take place in a few minutes. It's already come and gone. Yemen's missiles have been intercepted. However, it is significant that missile operations have restarted. Putin-Trump call was a nothing burger. Both sides agree the war will end, and that's basically it. They also agreed to a hockey match in each other's nations. Yes and no, Middle East spectator. There's a little bit more to it. I know you're not on Team America, but it actually wasn't as bad as you're making it out to be. Putin supported Trump's idea of mutual 30-day waiver to Russia and Ukraine of attacks on energy infrastructure. Russia and the U.S. will create expert groups on Ukrainian settlement. Settlement of the conflict in Ukraine must take into account the unconditional need to eliminate the root causes of the crisis, Russia's legitimate interests in the field of security. Putin declared his readiness to jointly work with American partners on possible ways to resolve the conflict in Ukraine, which should be sustainable and long-term. Russia will hand over 23 seriously wounded Ukrainian servicemen to Kiev as a gesture of goodwill. Putin responded constructively to Trump's initiative on shipping safety in the Black Sea, and Putin told Trump about the need to stop the mobilization of Ukraine and the rearmament of the Ukrainian armed forces in the event of a ceasefire. Final JFK files set for release contain a private letter from Jackie Kennedy to President Lyndon Johnson after the hit, along with missing conspiracy footage. Several Tesla cars were set on fire in Las Vegas by another wonderful individual who votes Democrat. I think they're confused on what person they are, whether they're a man or a woman, too, from what I understand and read in the story. Haven't been confirmed yet, from what I know. U.S. Justice Department orders national security lawyers to review the JFK documents. JFK files were released, available on the channel below. All you need to do is see them is just join the channel. It's free. Oh, where's that? Oh, that is crazy. That is on this PrepperNow Substack. It is preppernow.substack.com. Yeah. All that. You go there, you join, you get it for free, and then you get to find crazy links like this that take you to all of the Telegram crazy. I put all the links in here, as much as I can get them. It's got a link, it's joined. Yes, that's right. The Crisis Report on Substack. If you want to give me a little something for the effort, you can, and if you just want to get it into your inbox every day, like almost 500 of your favorite people, come on down and sign up for the preppernow.substack.com. We've got the crisis. You've got the email. Let's get together. Russia unleashes a massive drone assault on Ukraine following the Trump-Putin call. President Trump ends the U.S. taxpayer-funded program tracking mass abductions of Ukrainian children. Obama-appointed Judge Theodore Chwang has ruled that the Elon Musk and Doge likely violated the Constitution by unilaterally shutting down U.S. aid. I comment on this on PrepperNow. We have an entire video called Judges Gone Wild, but I'll give you the short version of it for the friends here. You've got Chwang saying that basically it was a violation of the Constitution. I'm trying to think of my words. But for it to be a violation of the Constitution, the U.S. aid had to have been created by legislation, and it wasn't. U.S. aid was created by executive fiat. So guess what? Executive fiat can kick that thing in the nuts and send it down to the dustbin of history. Sorry, sir. That's what happens when you lie on a legal document. By the way, did you go to law school or did you just make it all up? Website named DogeQuest has allegedly published the names, addresses, and phone numbers of Tesla owners across the U.S., featuring an interactive map and a Molotov cocktail cursor. What wonderful things. It's not like they're violent leftists that are going to go there and do what they do, you know. We're back. NASA astronauts splashed down on Earth in the Gulf of America after being stranded in space for months. It is the fascist Elon Musk that brought him down. Terrible. He sent SpaceX up there to retrieve him after 250 some days. I know, he's so evil. Gosh. Meanwhile, let's go burn a Tesla. Yeah. Israeli government approves appointment of Ben-Gvir as Minister of National Security, Hamath Yoth-Grud, despite opposition from the Attorney General. 59 young people died in a fire at a nightclub in Kokani, Macedonia, and about 160 are fighting for their lives in one of the greatest tragedies in Europe's history. Young people burned alive for hours and suffocated in the smog. It's awful. Netanyahu announced that it was violating the agreement and would continue taking out Gaza. He says combat will be full force, and this is just the beginning, and negotiations will only continue under fire. So, yeah, what do you think about that? That's something I was going to tie in with that story from the Greek nightclub. I guess not. This is only the beginning, warned Benjamin Netanyahu after Israel's deadly strikes on Gaza that left more than 400 people dead. Trump accepts Putin's demands for a lasting peace. U.S. and Russian Presidents Trump and Vlad agreed during the phone call, and the war between Russia and Ukraine must end with a lasting peace. Excuse me. Negotiations to that end would begin immediately, the White House said. Leaders agreed upon the move toward peace and would begin with a ceasefire on energy and infrastructure, as well as technical negotiations to implement a ceasefire in the Black Sea, a full ceasefire, and a lasting peace, according to the statement released after the call. Negotiations will begin immediately in the Middle East by, the document added. Putin agreed on Trump's proposal that Russia and Ukraine stop striking each other's energy infrastructure for 30 days. Russian media reported after the call with Trump, Putin ordered the military to halt attacks on these targets for 30 days. Kremlin said the two leaders the detailed and final exchange of views on Ukraine. Kremlin stressed that the key condition for preventing a further escalation of the conflict is a complete cessation of foreign military assistance and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Two leaders agreed that the future of improved bilateral relations between the U.S. and Russia holds great promise. That includes the major economic deals and geopolitical stability. Once peace is achieved, the White House told in a statement, or said in a statement. Israeli Channel 12 reports Israel is threatening to annex territory in Gaza. For every hostage who is harmed, Hamas refused. American proposal to extend the phase 1 of the ceasefire agreement. Yemeni media aligned with the Houthis report that U.S. Navy's naval aviation is conducting airstrikes on Sana'a, governance of northern Yemen, designated as a terror organization in the U.S. Israel Channel 14. Israel is attacking sites in the Syrian city of Hamas. U.S. Navy strikes in Yemen continue at this time, with several strikes reported in Yemen's Hajjah governorate. Popular Front, Liberation Palestine, PFLP, calls on its American far-left partners to siege the White House and the Pentagon over the Israeli renewed attacks on Gaza. So they basically just said, activate the left. PFLP in statement says, we call for a siege of the White House and the Pentagon and to send a message to the killers that the world will not remain silent. And it also designates a terror organization in the U.S. France condemns Israel's military operation and demands an immediate end to the violence. Netanyahu clarifies from now on negotiations will take place under fire. Prime Minister returns to the principle of established a few months ago and abandoned it in the last 2.5 weeks. The United States announces it agreed with Russia on energy and infrastructure ceasefire, negotiations on maritime ceasefire, full ceasefire, and permanent peace to follow. Other topics of Middle East, stopping whatever that means, nuclear, I guess, and agreeing that Iran should never have a position to destroy Israel. Okay. Qatar is reporting Egypt has rushed to present an urgent proposal to ceasefire in Gaza, under which humanitarian aid would be introduced in exchange for the release of several injured Israeli hostages and civilians with dual citizenship. And in addition, the Rafah crossing would be opened for the exit of wounded people from Gaza. Will Hamas agree to this? President Trump message to people living illegally in the United States: self-deport now, use the CBP home map to do so, or face deportation the hard way. Trump administration plans to off hundreds of scientists and lay off researchers from the U.S. federal government as part of drastic cuts to the Environmental Protection Agency. President Trump fires both Democratic commissioners at the FTC, according to Reuters. I'm sure everything will work out. President Trump fires both Democratic commissioners at the FTC. Russia launches a massive suicide drone attack on Ukraine after Trump-Putin call. Drones are expected to enter Ukrainian airspace shortly. Pentagon will cut up to 60,000 civilian jobs. Rheinmetall stock reached all-time high at whatever the heck it is. In early 2022, before Russia's invasion, it was trading at less than 100 euros. U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi says the swarm of violent attacks on Tesla property is nothing short of domestic terror. JFK called Biden a traitor in the JFK files. Declassed JFK files tells the story of a man named Gary Underhill, who was confident in his friends and family that he knew the CIA was responsible for the hit one day after it occurred and that he was fearful for his life. Strangely enough, 6 months later, he committed suicide. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, U.S. is facing a judicial coup. Elon Musk says SpaceX offered to return the astronauts earlier, but the Biden administration rejected the offer for political reasons. Federal judge blocks Trump administration from ending $14 billion in climate grants. Jeez. JFK files. CIA tracked Oswald's Soviet consulate visits in Helsinki. Let's see. Document shows Oswald's visit to the Soviet consulates and the rapid travel timeline. Files show coordination between the CIA and the State Department in monitoring his Soviet connections. And yes, there's a lot more to it. New statement. The Houthi terror organization claims it has targeted the USS Truman aircraft carrier with ballistic and cruise missiles and drones for the fourth time in 72 hours. National Archives states the U.S. Secret Service, CIA, and FBI had no involvement in President John F. Kennedy's assassination. Yeah, you guys don't look guilty at all. Okay. Ukraine ceasefire talks are planned Sunday in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, U.S. envoy says. March 18th in all markets in China today, including the Shanghai futures market. Shanghai gold market, man. Shanghai and Shenzhen stock market, etc. All gold and silver related products have surged. Silver to the moon. Folks, that's your crisis report for March. 18th, 2025. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you on the next one. God bless.